and welcome to another episode of the Woldenburn Podcast. My name is Emily, and I am coming to you from Tennessee in the United States, where I live with my husband and our beautiful little baby boy. Hi, it has been a minute since I've been able to film a podcast. I have been out of town for the last 3 weeks, and we're still kind of in recovery mode. We just got back home, 2 days? 3 days ago now? Really 2 days ago, because we got home at about 10 o'clock at night on Wednesday, and it's Saturday afternoon now, so it's been a minute. So there's been a lot of just trying to recalibrate and get laundry done and things picked up and cleaned up and organized and all that fun stuff. But I have just been so itching to talk about knitting with you guys. I have missed it, and I want to do it. So baby's napping. I have left him with my husband, and hopefully I'll be able to get a podcast episode done before the baby wakes up. I have a few different knitting projects to talk with you today. I don't have any finished objects to share. I have a million sock projects to show, and then I have my faux set that I'm going to talk about a little bit, and I have some beautiful yarn acquisitions, and then that's about it. I hope that you all have been doing it so well and have been having a lovely May. It's just been busy, like I said, and I didn't get nearly as much knitting time in as I expected. Baby Tam was teething. He's gotten he's working on his 4th tooth in the last 3 weeks. So he already had his 2 bottom teeth, and he got his 2 top teeth, and now he's getting these 2 teeth. And he's gotten all of these top 4 in 3 weeks. So sleep has been crazy. But yeah, so I didn't get as much knitting time as I had hoped while I was gone. I was visiting my family. It was a surprise for my mom. She had no idea that baby Tam and I were coming, and it was just lovely. But yeah, I was hoping to get a lot more knitting done. I didn't. I still managed to get a decent amount done, which I'm very happy about. So first off, I'm going to touch really briefly on my faux set that I have been knitting, and this is the faux set crop pattern by Devin Ventry of the Knitty McPurly podcast. It's an amazing podcast. If you haven't watched it yet, highly recommend it. I so enjoy it. She uploads a new episode every Sunday, and it's just such a treat. I absolutely love watching Devin's podcast. But she is currently hosting the faux set along, which is for her pattern that she designed. She's a knitwear designer or yarn dyer. She's amazing. But she is currently hosting the faux set along, and I have been wanting to make the faux set pattern. I saw Holly of Mystery Mouse Knitting Podcast. She knit a faux set earlier in the year, and I just absolutely loved it. So I've been wanting to knit it for a few months, and then Devin announced that she was doing the faux set along, and I was like, this is absolutely perfect timing. So I have been working on it. If you're a regular viewer of my channel, you will know that I have 2 videos currently on my channel talking about my faux set, and so I've just kind of been doing a little bit of like a knitting diary vlog, if you will, in just kind of shorter videos specifically for the faux set. So I'm not going to talk about it too much here. I'm just going to show you kind of the progress that I have made, and if you're really interested to know all of the details, I'll have those other 2 videos linked down below. But let me show you where I'm at. I tried it on again this morning, and I'm so in love with it. I'm working on the body now, and I'm actually really close to being done with the main portion of the body. So I put it onto 2, I don't have any of those fancy, like the barber cord, try-on cord things, and I didn't want to put it on waste yarn, so I have it on 2 needles right now. But yeah, let me show you a little bit of a close-up. There's mosaic colorwork and stranded colorwork and this beautiful textured section right there. I'm almost tempted to just knit a whole sweater with just this textured stitch, because I just love it so much. And then more colorwork, and then just lovely, beautiful stockinette for days. But I tried it on, like I said, I tried it on this morning, and I'm really close to being done with the body. There's another colorwork section, and then the ribbing, and so I'm very, very close to that spot. But like I said, if you want to know all of the details about this, I will have the other videos linked down below. Now, all of the rest of the projects that I have are all socks. It has been a sock heavy month for me. Part of that was because I knew I was going to be traveling, so I wanted kind of simple projects that I could just pick up and go with. Some of them are just because I didn't finish my sock whips before I cast on more socks. So yeah. Let's start with the first one that I just grabbed out of the bag. This is a simple vanilla sock that I am knitting. Stephanie of Texas Peach Knits and I both happened to purchase this particular colorway of Patton's Croy sock yarn from Hobby Lobby, and so we're kind of doing the mini knit along, so to speak, where we're both knitting. They're like Mother's Day socks, but we're both knitting socks for ourselves out of this beautiful yarn. And this is just the first sock. I have not finished a sock. I had high hopes of being able to complete the pair in May, but that didn't happen. Part of that is because I have way too many sock whips on the needles at the moment. But yeah, I've made a decent amount of progress. I'm making these longer than my normal socks. Usually I do shorty socks. That's the majority of the socks that I knit are the shorter socks. But for this one, this is a very like thick, hardy, squishy sort of a sock yarn, and I decided that it would be nice to have just a really cozy, long sock. So that's what I did. And then I am experimenting with a couple things. I've changed up my recipe a little bit. Normally I always talk about how I knit my socks on 56 stitches on US size 1 2.25 millimeter needles. I changed it up for this sock and one of the other socks that I'll show you. I'm actually knitting this. I have cast on 60 stitches and I'm using a US size 0 or 2 millimeters needle. I'm doing double points for this one. And I also changed, I normally do a heel flap and gusset heel. I decided to experiment with a shadow wrap heel, which is a short row heel. It's a specific type of a short row heel. And I really, really like it. Like, I've avoided short row heels because I never felt like they really fit very well, but I just wanted to give this one a try because part of the issue that I've had is that the short row heels always seemed really narrow, so I modified it slightly and I just made it so that the middle portion, because basically with a short row heel you work back and forth until you have this wedge, and then you work back and forth. It's not going to make much sense, but you work back and forth kind of not quite decreasing, but doing your short rows, and then you work back and forth doing short rows to widen back out. And I just made sure that this part, the narrowest part here, was over like 12 stitches or something, so it's a nice wide section. And it looks like it fits amazingly. So I'm planning to make this pair of socks with this short row heel, and then I have another pair of socks with this short row heel. And I'm gonna see how it works, like long term, how it fits and how I like it. Because I do really love a heel flap and gusset, but sometimes it's a little bit annoying and it takes a while. This was so fast and easy, and I followed a tutorial. There's a video tutorial, and then I just followed the blog post. I followed the written tutorial. So I will link that down below, and I highly recommend you check it out. So easy, super quick. I really liked it. So that's what I've done for this. And then again, I'm experimenting with doing the 60 stitches on US size 0s because I do find sometimes that my the regular sock recipe that I have can sometimes be a little bit airy and loose, and I really wanted to experiment with a few different things, you know, more stitches but a smaller needle, and like different heels and things, just to see if I could find a slightly better sock recipe for myself. So I'm just playing around with it and having fun, but I love this yarn, and this yarn is also particularly thick, so with these tiny needles it has made such a sturdy, stretchy, like almost dense fabric. I actually really like it. I think these are going to be very cozy and warm. So, very pleased with these. And the needles that I'm using are just like the super, super cheap needles that you can get at Joann's or Michael or Hobby Lobby or whatever. Just the most inexpensive knitting needles you can possibly get. Because most of my sock needles, I almost always use DPNs. And when I first started knitting socks, I actually have most of them right up here. I just purchased several sets from the store, so like I have a lot of US size 1 double pointed needles. So anyway, that one, and then and the colorway is called Midnight Orchid, before I forget. It's just this beautiful, beautiful mix of pinks and greens and creams and and purples. And it's beautiful. So sock project number 1. Sock project number 2, I have shared this before. I only worked just the tiniest bit on this one, but we'll go ahead and show it since I'm talking about all of my socks. And this is just kind of a super basic sock. I am doing, this is on my usual recipe, 56 stitches, US size 1 needles. I'm doing this on the Hiya Sharps needles. Over the last few months, I've gotten a few different brands of knitting needles, and I'm just experimenting and trying out different ways, like I said, of doing socks and different needles and whatnot. And I do really like these needles. They're nice and sharp, and they're knitting needles. They're great. So and I am knitting this out of the Barocco Vintage Sock in the rhubarb colorway, I believe. Ta-da! Let me see. Rhubarb, yes. And this is a really interesting sock blend if you haven't heard of it before. It is 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. I actually really, really like this. I knit a pair of socks for my husband out of this yarn, and so far they have worn really well, and they're great. So I definitely can see myself using this yarn quite a bit because it's also pretty inexpensive. I'm able to get this for $10 at my local yarn store. So it's really nice, and it's very soft. I really like it. But for this one, I am just doing I call it made up. I found a knitting stitch out of one of my knitting stitch dictionaries, and it's called like the seed stitch rib, I think. And it's just a really, really simple stitch. It's a 2-row repeat. And for this one, I've gone back and forth. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a longer leg or if I'm going to do the heel so that I can get this sock done. I don't know yet. So we'll see. Sock project number 2. And then sock project number 3 is, here we are. It is out of an opal yarn that I purchased at my local yarn store last year. It's this beautiful yarn. It's from the Van Gogh collection, inspired by this painting. And I have made a little bit of progress on it. I can't remember when or if I've actually talked about this one at all, but I did like pretty much all of this. Like most of the leg I did while I was on vacation out of town. And these are also 56 stitches, US size 1. But for this one, I am using my Leica double pointed needles, which was I was gifted by a amazing and wonderful viewer of the podcast. She gifted me a set of the Leica whatever double pointed needles, and they're just stunning. I just feel so, I love having these in my knitting needle collection. But this is my first time using them as in socks. I used them for one other little project, but I really like them. They're a little bit shorter than what I'm used to. So I don't know if you can see that. So these are the cheap ones that I normally use. I don't know how long they are, if they're like 6 inches and maybe these ones are 7 inches. I don't know off the top of my head. But I like them. they're fun. I really enjoy doing double pointed needles. They feel satisfying. They feel nice. And I have found I really like wood needles. Like, I do. I didn't think I had much of a preference, but I really like wood needles. So this is just a vanilla sock. Nothing super interesting, but the yarn is gorgeous, and I like to do vanilla socks because then the yarn really shines, and I just love it. So that's sock project number 3. Now sock project number 4, like I said, I've been knitting so many socks because this isn't even the last one. So this one is, oh. What? Oh dear, okay. I just realized that I have a bunch of stitches that are off the needles. Hold on. Let me fix this quickly. Okay, I think we're good. That is the one thing. I have had all of these sock projects just in this one bag, and I don't have like needle cozies for the ones that are not DPNs, and I need to make some more needle cozies because I have done that to this sock several times where I've accidentally pulled on the cord and pulled the needle out. So this is my Scrappy Red Wallflower sock. I am using my hand-dyed yarns for the sock, and these stripy colors here, these 5 colors here, are from my Red Wallflowers mini skein set, which I put up for sale at the beginning of May, and which, thank you so much to those of you who purchased them. There were only 4 available, so there were not very many, but they have all sold now, which I am so happy about. It meant that I was able to go ahead and purchase some more undyed yarn so that I can make some more mini skein collections, because I want to make all of the Red Wall inspired yarn colorways. If you're not familiar, Red Wall is a book series that was written by Brian Jakes, and they are my all-time favorite book series. Not because they're the most, like, I don't know, literary genius sort of books, but because they're very nostalgic for me, and they're just very, very special books to me. I listen to the audiobooks all of the time. They are just, they're so good. I'm currently listening to The Long Patrol, again, for like the millionth time because I love that book. I'm kind of listening to the audiobooks in order as much as I can. It's kind of sad because I think there's like maybe 7 books that were never turned into audiobooks for some reason. So not all of them. I can't listen to all of them, which is sad. But anyway, back to the sock. This is, I have used my mini skein because I saved a set for myself. So I did this really fun sort of slip stitched pattern. It is, I watch Amy of the Noble Character Crafts podcast, and she has knit a couple pairs of socks, scrappy socks, using this pattern. And it's basically when you switch to the new color, you knit 2 stitches, slip 1 for 2 rows or 2 rounds, and it just looks so cool. The one thing I wish that I would have changed is I wish that I would have made each color stripe section a little bit longer, but when I started doing it, I was kind of planning to make the entire sock this stripy pattern, but then I decided that it would be really cute to just do that at the top of the leg and do the rest of the sock a solid. I don't know. I love how it looks. I am so pleased with it. So this is the other sock that I'm doing. I did 60 stitches on a US size 1, and for this one I'm using the Leica. I really need to like look that up and then write it down somewhere so I remember how to pronounce it. The circular, so I'm doing magic loop on this one, which is why I'll catch on this and then the needle just slips right out of the yarn. So that's kind of annoying, but if I would just make more needle cozies, then we would be all good. So I have done probably the most work on this one, and this one is the one that I did the shadow wrap heel on first, the short row heel, and I really like how it looks. It fits really well. The sock is fitting really well, and then I tried it on. I think I still have another probably couple of inches to do with the toe and everything, but they're coming along lovely. And then this brown is just another one of my hand-dyed yarns that I had in my stash. So that's that one. So those are the main sock projects that I have. I cast on another one last night, but it's not for me, so it's fine. So let me stick that there and we'll talk about this one real quick. I cast on another pair of socks for my husband. I have been working on knitting him socks. He absolutely loves the hand knit socks that I have made for him, and he wears them and he wants all the hand knit socks. So I decided what I'm going to do for this set is I'm actually doing it 2 at a time. And I just cast these on last night, so like I think I've done 5 rows of the ribbing. But I realized if I do it 2 at a time, then I can get him a whole pair of socks done all at once and we'll be good to go. So we're going to try it out with this pair of socks. We're going to see how I do, and then I have a feeling that this is going to be how I'm going to end up knitting most of his socks, because then I have both socks done at once. And this is in the Barocco vintage sock. I think it's like the fennel colorway. I don't know where my ball band went, but it's this really, really pretty green. And there you have it. That is all of the, oh, before I forget, these are just some Clover knitting needles. I think it's a 40-inch cord. It's a US 1, 2.25 millimeter, 56 stitches. That is one of the great things about my husband, is that it just so happens that his feet and my feet are really, really close, and so I can just use my sock recipe and it fits him. Happy days. The one thing that I would change about these needles is I wish that the needle part was a little bit longer. I don't know why they're so short for such a long cable, but it would be a lot easier if the needle was like more like that long. But I make it work. Anyway, that is all. Oh, that's going to be right in the camera frame. Ta-da! Those are all of the active whips that I have at the moment. I still have a couple other ones. Like I have my festival sweater that I'm still working on, but I haven't worked on it in the last month because I've been gone. However, I do have a couple of yarn acquisitions to show you. So we're going to talk about that quickly, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Okay, so one of the yarn acquisitions I purchased, and the other one was a complete and total surprise from a lovely and amazing lady who I love so much, and I just wish that I could be her next door neighbor. So we're going to talk about that one first, because I had no idea. I was gone. I was in South Carolina with my family, and my husband, he had been gone on a work trip, so he got back and he checked the mail. He was like, oh, you have a package in the mail. And I was like, I didn't buy anything. What did I get in the mail? Holly of Mystery Mouse Knitting, who is just absolutely amazing, had sent me her gorgeous and stunning Mother's Day yarn set. And it's a sock set. And I was like this close to trying to get it. I wanted it so badly. She announced that it was like this mystery Mother's Day yarn set, and that she was doing it based off of a teacup from her own mother's like teacup set. And I just... I wanted to get it so bad. I was very tempted to like heavily hint to my husband that I would love to have this. But I was like, no, behave yourself. Like, you don't need to do that. And she sent it to me. And I absolutely love it. It's so beautiful. It's called Forget Me Not, which is just... So it's this beautiful, beautiful blue, which is like a nice pale... Oh, come on. Focus on that. Focus on the yarn. Pale blue. It's got some little speckles in it and like little like purpley sections. And then it's carrying with 2 mini skeins, a purpley and a pink one. But the pink one has like purple in it. It's just... Holly, it is so beautiful. It made me so happy. I was just like so surprised. I was just like, I didn't buy anything, I promise. And also, like, the label is the most adorable thing. This little mouse here is Holly's, I guess you could say mascot. It's Arthur Cardigan, and he's a little, like, sleuth mouse. And it's just so lovely. Because not only that, but she also sent a card. that has it bigger. This is going up on my wall. I can't wait. I have my little like art wall up here above my computer, and this is going up on the wall, or actually it might go up on the wall back there. I have a bunch of like different little art prints and things. I just, it was so sweet. She sent it to me because this was my first Mother's Day. You know, I have not had a Mother's Day before, and it was just such a special, special thing, and I absolutely love it. And I realized I have the perfect plan for this because I realized I can knit my mom and I matching socks, and it'll be so perfect because it's a Mother's Day yarn. I can knit my mom some socks and just do, my plan is to do some shorty like lace socks because this just needs to be some lace socks. It just screams lacy, beautiful, lovely socks. And so I'm gonna make my mom and I some socks out of it, and I cannot wait. I will probably need to finish a few of the socks that I already have going, but that is happening at some point, and I cannot wait. I'm probably going to use, I think it's called the Mercury sock pattern. Either that one or one of the patterns by This Handmade Life, Olivia. She has so many beautiful sock patterns, and I have purchased so many of her sock patterns. I need to knit some of them. So stay tuned for that. But not only did it come with this beautiful yarn, it came with the most beautiful and stunning like stitch marker progress keeper thing that I have ever seen. I love it so much. Look at this. Is that not the most beautiful thing ever? Like just the little like blue and white bead here, and then the rose bead. I absolutely love it. It's so gorgeous. I just, okay. And then a little bundle of goodies. There's some tea in here and then some chocolates. Now this is kind of a funny thing, but I love Ghirardelli chocolates, and I really like the dark chocolate and salted caramel one, and there's a milk chocolate and caramel one in here. But I have wondered for a very long time, I know this is kind of silly, what these ones taste like. So we've got the dark chocolate and mint and the dark chocolate and raspberry, but I didn't want to buy like a whole bar or a whole bag of them in case I absolutely hated them. So now I get to see what these taste like and whether or not I like them. So I'm very excited about that. Anyway, thank you, Holly. It was the most sweet and thoughtful gift, and it just absolutely made my day. I was thinking about it for the whole rest of the day, and I was so sad that I was not like in person. I had my husband take a picture of all of the beautiful things so I could post it on Instagram, but I really wanted to like squish it and feel it and look at it in person. So then I got home, I was just like, oh, yarn. But yeah, so thank you very much, Holly. It's absolutely stunning. If you have not checked out Holly's yarn, her yarn shop is the Mystery Mouse Yarn Co. on Etsy. She has some gorgeous and stunning yarn colorways. She actually has like this mystery sock set that is only available until June 1st, so go and check it out. But yeah, I wish I had loads more money so I could buy all of Holly's yarn, basically. Oops. I just kicked the camera. Anyway, so there's that, and then the other thing that I got, I was going to try and go to a yarn store while I was in South Carolina, but it didn't end up happening. They were all kind of far away, and it just didn't work. So I told my husband instead I wanted to purchase some yarn online that I had been wanting for quite some time, and that would be my like sentimental special like South Carolina trip yarn. So I ordered some yarn from Lion Brand Yarns, and they had, for a limited time, whatever, they have sock yarns. Do I need more sock yarn? No. However, I also felt fine about this one because I have been eyeing these particular colorways since last year sometime. So they are clearancing them out. I think they're getting ready to phase out of having this particular base again. So they were like $6 a ball, and then there was an additional, well, no, these weren't discounted anymore, but they were like $6 and whatnot. So I bought these. So we've got this one, which is, I believe, the My tie colorway. And this is a blend of wool and nylon, right? Wool and nylon, yep. 75% wool, 25% nylon. It has that like rustic feel that I actually really like in sock yarns. It feels kind of similar to like the opal yarn, maybe a little bit more rustic, but I really, really like this color combination. And I'm really excited to see how it knits up. There weren't pictures of how it knit up, so I'm very excited about it. And then I got this one, which is called Last Word, which is also just pinky and beautiful. I don't really have any like pink sock yarns. I have like my rhubarb one, but I don't really have any like true pink yarns. And so I was like, these are really fun. There's throwing things. They're super girly. Oh my goodness. Now I just whacked the camera. They're super fun. They're super girly, super cute. I really like them. And then the other thing that I got is actually, it's not for me, so, you know, this works. This is for a Christmas present. The recipient is going to remain undisclosed at this time, but I am planning, this is their fisherman's wool. It's a very rustic, like very rustic, cozy, a little bit scratchy sort of a wool. I think it's just 100% wool. Yeah, it's 100% wool, 227 grams, 465 yards. Yeah, just really nice. I got, this is the colorway, is it oatmeal? Yeah, oatmeal. And I'm planning some slipper sock things. Yeah, which I'm actually going to cast on very soon. This is a Christmas present, but I'm going to try and get all my Christmas presents done earlier this year. So, yeah, I'm really excited about this one because I've been wanting to knit the particular pattern that I'm planning to use with this for quite some time. And so I'm very excited to finally be able to do that. So, that's all I have of yarn stuff. I did quickly want to show you, just right before I left to go on vacation, my local library had their used book sale, and they didn't really have as much this year as they have in previous years, or as many books as I would have wanted to purchase, but they did have this, which is the Charted Knitting Designs. I think it's by Barbara Walker. Let me see. Barbara G. Walker, yeah. And it has a really cute inscription. It says, "To Pat, in appreciation for your thoughtfulness, Marie, Mayo, and Evelyn something from May 1973. And this is just an old like knitting stitch dictionary. And I feel like I saw this book on the Knitty McPurly podcast, and so I just happened to see it there, and all the books there were $1, so I was just like, ooh, this looks like fun. So I haven't really had a chance to look at it too much. Oh, that is really pretty. Look at that. That's a really pretty design. Anyway, so I haven't really had the chance to look through this much, but it's just, oh, these are some fun things. Like I said, I haven't looked at it, but it's got like some, I don't know if these are actually patterns in here or if these are just examples of what you can do. No, it looks like there might actually be patterns for it. Oh, that's pretty. Anyway, I got it. It was $1. I was like, why not? Why not? I can just grow my knitting book collection. It's fine. So, that is all that I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for watching. I think I'm going to film a book video for my book channel, so if you're interested in books, be sure to check that out. I have my book channel linked down below. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all of your love and support for my channel, and I hope to talk to you again very, very soon on the next one. Bye!